Hi everyone, thanks for joining us again. I'm back here again with my good friend Ibrahim. We're here obviously just to continue what we were talking about and bring you guys back into a conversation. Ibrahim, at the moment, I'm hearing a lot of noise about a bubble or a correction in the market here in Dubai. What are your thoughts on it, and help us understand what's going on?
Well, good to be back, Shil, and a very good question. I keep saying, if you are going to follow your friend's advice or dad's friend's advice and other friends' advice, then you're going to keep entering into this domain. So listen to the professionals. That's number one.
Okay.
Now, with Dubai, on a serious part, Dubai has been really doing really well. And we talked about it, that the population growth, the numbers going to 7 million. When that kind of numbers coming in, the number one thing they go for is housing. Now, the job market is really picking up. So you have entrepreneurs coming into Dubai, and they are now the millionaires and other people who are really pumping up the ecosystem in Dubai are setting up these international standard labs and AI hubs. So let's keep the dream alive. I say Dubai has built up this dream, and this dream is going to go forward.
Well, actually, I just want to touch on that because there's one of the things that you said there about these millionaires and the entrepreneurs coming in, what that actually creates, and we see this globally, right? It'll create an ecosystem, and it's that ecosystem which I believe will continue that demand. It's not necessarily just these people alone, it's everything which comes behind it, because the more that they bring in, the more people that come in.
I totally agree, and on that, probably I remember you've been looking at some of the numbers and trends in terms of year-over-year growth. So what do the numbers say right now?
Well, look, I'm still waiting for an exact market full report to drop out and to sit down and be able to study it and get a complete understanding for February. But what I have seen is that in February we've done over 15,500 transactions in Dubai. Which is up on January, where everyone felt a little bit of a wobble because we had a little bit of a slowdown, the indices went down, but we're up on January. In fact, we're back up at an all-time high, and we're also up on February last year. So,
okay.
Yeah, back up there.
Very promising then.
Yeah, absolutely, as you expect in Dubai, right?
There you
It's
go.
the land of opportunity in a sense. So Ibrahim, in your opinion, what are the key things that you need to be considering when you're investing in Dubai real estate? What makes you successful, or what makes you someone who maybe missed a couple of opportunities?
A very good question. I think there are a lot of elements that would categorize somebody who is a successful investor to somebody who has missed out on the good opportunities in investing in real estate in Dubai. Now, one of the very important factors I always say in making a good decision and people who are successful is getting the right advice, is talking to the professionals who know the market and have the finger on the pulse. The second most important thing is, again, about the brochures versus the reality. If everything is looking really great on paper and presentation, does that project has really done well on ground? Has the builder has the experience on delivering the projects on time? Is there a legacy or a history that you can look back and suggest that yes, this builder has consistently done well and delivered on time? Now, a couple of other things are very important, and one is location. And we always say location, location, location.
Ever in the world.
Yes, and the right price is also very important. On top of it, the service and the maintenance is a very critical part. It's easier to make buildings, but then to manage them, maintain them, and service them, that's what really gets the appreciation in those real estate properties. Now, besides that, you would see a lot of buildings that look really great on the outside, but are not at all well taken care inside. So I always say, when you go out and you buy super luxury cars out there, you don't buy them with a scratch. So it's similarly the same thing. You're buying a luxury property, or you're buying a studio, or you're buying a one bedroom, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you have the right advice, you have the right information, you have the right builder, and you have the right price plan or the payment plan. Well, interestingly, one more thing, there's a lot of super discounts and amazing or crazy payment plans. I always say, if it's too good to be true, that money is coming out of your pocket. So watch those crazy discounts, stick to the good builders, the good names, because these guys, they don't give you any discounts. The product sells and it sells fast, and they don't need to maneuver around.
Yeah.
So watch for such things and make your decisions well. But Shil, I mean, we talked about people who are successful in this, but I'm sure there are so many people who end up missing the opportunity of buying a good real estate. So what are some of those elements or clues that they should watch for in making a decision that actually makes them lose their opportunity?
You see, it actually flips back to exactly something you just said, right? So you said location, location, location. Exactly the same. Missed opportunities come with bad location, you know, not understanding the map of Dubai, not understanding what's going on, and also not keeping up to date. And that's actually not necessarily an investor's job. That's my job. That's your job. Right. That's someone who's in the real estate industry. You should know what's going on in Dubai, what's happening with RTA, where the key infrastructure projects are, and all of that. That will really help shape people. And if people haven't picked up on that already, I've got so many great examples to talk through. So, you know, again, going back to it, location, location, location. But then not just that, you also touched on the builders and the builders' reputations. Actually, one of the things which always stand out to me are people who don't invest into a community. That's potentially a huge missed opportunity. So when you go and buy, you know, a standalone building, you know, great, you could be, that's great if it's part or an early part of the community. But if you're just buying a standalone building which hasn't actually been, you know, cultivated, or there's no plans for that area, then that's an opportunity that you might be, you know, really going into something which is maybe too good to be true. And then, you know, again, going back to the point about advice, you know, getting the right advice, knowing what's going on, knowing, you know, what could happen here as well. Now, that goes back to another point that you mentioned about the developers. There are some developers who have got a track record of constantly getting it wrong, and then there are some developers which get it constantly right. And a lot of this you'll also be able to pick out from another thing that you touched on, which is the payment plan. So actually, payment plans which have got these, you know, great stretched out periods, how is a builder going to be able to afford all of to keep up with their construction? So again, it goes back to the point of people are missing the opportunity of realizing that actually the cost of construction is there as part of the payment plan to protect themselves.
Okay.
So protect yourself, take that right payment plan, you know, consider the location, get the advice and the knowledge and the expertise, and then you're not missing the opportunity.
And you can always reach out to both me and Shil, and we're here to offer you great advice.
So in Dubai, we see a lot of people who spread their investment or look at different categories in terms of investing in. I kind of keep that very, very simple and say that some people will put their money into apartments, some into townhouses, and some fully fledge themselves into larger villas. But also within those, there are different categories. There are what you call the entry level, there's the standard level, and then there's a luxury level.
Correct.
Right? So I guess from a question to you, Ibrahim, is where would you put your money and why?
Well, I think you've explained it really well. We've had the three segments thriving for quite some time, the apartments, the townhomes, and villas. Well, if you ask my go-to, and looking at least 4 to 5 years from now, what would be really in demand, it would be townhomes and villas. But among those two, my favorites are the villas. And why? Because the villas have appreciated the most. Okay. If you look at the top 3 villa communities right now in Dubai, the number 1 villa community appreciated by 68%.
Wow.
The number 2 villa community appreciated by 35%. And the number 3 villa community appreciated by 32%.
Is that just last year?
That is just last year.
That's stunning.
And going forward, now you have a mixed community. So you have communities where you have the apartments, you have the townhomes, and you have the villas. And in villas again, then you have the luxury mansion villas, then you have the regular villas, and then you have these detached or semi-detached, what we call villas. Now, my preference, or where I would put my money, is standalone villas. I would like to invest in communities, and I do, where it's a standalone villa, the community is really green, it's sustainable, my privacy and my views are unobstructed. I know that nothing is going to be built 4 years from now, a building isn't going to come across where my sunset view or my morning view is going to get disturbed. Secondly, the cost of construction and the maintenance is still very low if you look in terms of per square feet rates. You're looking at about 1,800 to 2,000 square feet dirhams for a villa construction right now. You're looking for 3 to 4 dirhams per square feet for maintenance for a villa.
That's townhouses, right? So 1,800, 2,000 square foot townhouse.
You can still get a villa for that.
Oh, really? A small villa?
Yes, you
Okay,
can.
so that's like
You
an
can
entry
always get a
point.
3-bedroom villa, something which is
Okay.
about 28 to 3,000 square feet.
Okay.
There are some very good communities. Of course, as you step up from those, you have the luxury villas or the mansions.
Yeah.
And as we say, as you keep going for better and luxury stuff, it's going to get expensive. But why? Because villas are also being constructed, which is only 1% of the total construction, maybe less than even 1% of the total construction in Dubai is villas.
Oh, really?
Now, the communities that are coming in, people that are moving in have big family size and they're looking to live in bigger spaces because that's what they used to live in. And I see that that's an area from an investment point of view to really watchful and invest in that area. Following that, of course, you have townhomes and you have apartments. But that's me. I mean, I would love to invest in a villa. That's my go-to space now for at least 3 years because for the reasons I just mentioned. Where would you put your money in?
See, I echo what you say to a point because I understand that all these millionaires moving here, and we touched on that last time we spoke, but all these millionaires moving in, it means that actually there's going to be a demand to have that larger space and the plot of land, etc. But you see, for me, one of the things I really love, and I think this is again personal, as much as it is also factored in, as much as it's also economic as well, is I really like the idea of communities on the water. So waterfront apartment communities. So whether it be, on this side of Dubai or the middle of Dubai or the other side of Dubai, where there's potentially more than just one building, you've got a hub created, that kind of stuff. We've seen success stories when it comes down to that. If you look at Dubai Marina, that's a complete success story, and that's again a community on water. But there's so many more and so many up and coming ones of these that actually there's a couple of different options that we could look in. But digging further into that, I actually still really like the idea of the larger properties. So again, looking towards something which is unique, something which is different, and why you can still get these realistically at an affordable rate, but still classified as a luxury segment apartment. And when I say affordable rate, I'm obviously comparing that to different parts of the world. Different parts of the world, you're talking astronomical prices if you're on the water in a 3,000 square foot apartment. Here, it's still really reasonable. But again, you got to dig into getting into what's right for the client. Me, personally, that's where I put my money.
Very nice, and I think you're very right. I mean, if you look at the pricing, especially in downtown and some of the waterfront properties, it's much cheaper compared to some of the rest of the world, like New York, California, Tokyo, Singapore, and I think that's a lot of growth in there.
Well, I think one of the things I'd love to do is get to know a little bit more about California, because for me, I've loved traveling there and visiting there. So maybe at some point we can have a conversation about that and what real estate's like over there.
I've spent quite a bit of time in LA, in California, and we'll surely talk about that. But till then, for our viewers, for more information, you can log on to our website, and you can always reach me and Shil, and we'd be happy to give you advice and make you money.